Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. This week we are making block 7 in the Starlight Starbright quilt-along. So if you want to see how to make a block like this, the open star, please stay tuned. I'm very excited that we are working on another block for the Starlight Starbright quilt-along. So far we've made 6 blocks. You can see 3 of them here behind me, but actually all 6 of them are behind me. You just can't see it because of the way the camera is angled. But so far, as I said, there have been 6 blocks. We're working on the 7th block today. I realized that I haven't told you specifically about where the inspiration came from for these blocks in a little while, so I want to show you the book. I'm pulling inspiration from the Block a Day book by Lucinda Ganderton. She has 365 quilting squares that you can choose from to create. What I've done is I've taken the blocks that I've chosen from this book and I've resized them. So these blocks all finish at 12.5, or they finish at 12 inches, but they're 12.5 inch unfinished. I want my blocks to be a little bit bigger. So we're working towards blocks that are 15.5 inches unfinished and hopefully 15 inches finished. Now, I have created a download for each one of these blocks in the new sizes so that you can see how they come together. There will be a link to the playlist for the other 6 blocks, along with, there's a link to the download for this block that we're making today, and then under each of those videos there's a link for those blocks. So the block that we're going to make today, it's called the Open Star. Actually, I'm going to show it to you in the book here so that you can see it. It's on the other page. Wait, where'd it go? Okay, so it's right here in the book. Okay, I don't know how well you can see it. I'm gonna come a little closer, see if you can see it. There it is. Okay, and what I've done is for each one of these blocks, I remade them or I drew them out in the 2 colorways that I'm going to use. So at the top of this, the top diagram is the colors that we're going to use today. So I'm using blues and a white today. But my practice block is here at the bottom. And for this, I'm using red, black, and gray. So I have my practice block here so that you can see it. I'm going to put it right here behind me for right now, but I think I will have to move it because I want you to be able to see the current colors that I'm working with. And what I like about this block and the 2 before it is that it's basically the same pattern. So it's quarter square triangles and squares. This one has some half square triangles in it, but now that we're on these quarter square triangles, these blocks are very similar. If you look actually at these blocks, they're exactly the same construction-wise, but the colorway is changed just a bit. So just by adjusting a few of the colors, you get a completely different look for the quilt. Of course, these look different because they're in different colorways, but once I put it in the blue, hopefully we'll see that same kind of contrast where the blocks are basically the same, but playing with the color gives you a completely different look. So I'm going to get the pieces that we need first, and then we will start sewing. What I like about this block is the very simple construction, but also that it uses not a lot of accent fabric. So if you look here, you can see that I'm just using 1 background fabric, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 accent fabrics, and we don't need a lot of them, fabric-wise. We don't need a lot of fabric to get them. So I have my pieces here, and I'll go over what we need. And I'm gonna kind of put 1 of each on the design wall. Let me put this right here. Okay, so to start, for the background, we actually need 4 6.5-inch squares, and I've chosen this white swirl. Hopefully you can see that swirl on camera, but if I get a chance at the end of the video, I'll put a picture of the block and so you can see it a little closer. And then, so I have 4 of these at 6.5. These are what's going to be used to make our half square triangles. And then I have 5 of the same background square at 5.5. So there are 4 6.5 and then 5 5.5-inch squares. For the accent fabrics, as I said, there are 4, and you only need 1 6.5-inch square of each one. So these are the fabrics that I've chosen. 2 and 3. I'll put this one up here so that you can see it. And then 4. So I'm interested to see how these come together in this block. Our first step is actually going to be, well, I'll just do the first 2 steps. We're going to take these 5.5-inch squares and just move them out of the way. I don't need those right now. First, we need to make our half square triangles. So I've taken on the background, I have drawn that line diagonally from corner to corner. And if you've been following me on this journey, this is how I make all the half square triangles for this quilt. It seems to work out well for me, and I don't have to square up too much, okay? And so I'm gonna place one of these squares right sides together with the accent squares. I'm gonna do that for each one, and I'm stitching on both sides of that line that I drew, okay? I'm going to do that on camera, but I'll speed it up so that you can see what that looks like. But I'm gonna do all 4 of these. I'm gonna create 4 sets of half square triangles. All of my half square triangles made, and I've cut them down the middle, and I've pressed the seam allowance towards the darker fabric for each one of them, and in this case it's towards the accent fabric. And so now I have 2 of each of the 4 colorways. For the next step, I squared them to 6 inches. So after I cut them, I used my 6.5-inch square ruler to square them up to 6 inches. My next step is going to be to choose 2 of these patterns. So I'm going to choose the 2 lighter ones here. Let me show you the 2 that I'm choosing. And I'm going to draw a diagonal line corner to corner across the seam. Okay, so this way. I'm gonna do that. Actually, I'll do it right here on camera because this next step is a little bit tricky, and so I want to make sure that I can explain it correctly. And as of while I'm recording this video, I have not made the download. So the reason I haven't finished it is because I'm concerned about how to explain this next part. But hopefully, once you see it on camera, you'll understand what I mean. And I'm just taking, right now I'm just taking this little ruler that I have and drawing a line from corner to corner on each one of these lighter HSTs, and I'm going across the seam allowance. So it's basically creating that perpendicular line to the seam, 2 down, 2 to go. And then we have to create our quarter square triangles. So I'm excited to show you how that is about to happen. So I'm still working here. This seems like it takes much longer on camera than in person, but in real life, but it's okay. Here's the last one. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take for each of the similar half square triangles. So for these, I'm going to take the other ones that I have. I'm going to put one right sides together with one of the fabrics here. And then I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to put it right sides together with the other fabric. So you just have to make sure that each of the matching HSTs goes to a different fabric. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. This one is going to go with this one, right sides together. And we have the, I'm going to show you this in a minute. And then this one goes with this one, right sides together. And you want to make sure, of course, that the accent fabric is touching a background fabric for both of those. So hopefully you can see that. Now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before with these units. I'm going to stitch on either side of that drawn line. And again, you'll get to see that on camera. Now that I have everything together, it should go together pretty simply. Then I will cut them, press the seams, and we'll go to the next step. So, but you can see, I'll let you see me sew these on camera right now. I thought that I was recording that, but it turns out I was not. So I'll just start where I left off. I've stitched all of these blocks on both sides of the drawn line here. I'm just gonna cut in between, or cut on that line now. And what's cool about this block, or cool about this part of the process, is that you actually get 2 blocks, but you only need one of them for this project. So I'm gonna just set one of them to the side. I'm only gonna work with the one. And for this, I'm gonna swirl the seams, and I've done this in previous videos. So I'm just pushing one of the seams up and the other one down, and just kind of smushing it down so that I get a nice, so that I can get a nice flat block. And then I'm gonna square these to 5.5 inches. So I'll do that for all of these blocks. I will actually just keep recording, but I'll speed it up so that you can see this. Again, we're gonna keep one of the blocks and then just put the other one to the side. For another project, or if I wanted to make another block like this, I would already have kind of a head start on it. So actually, I'm not even gonna do that. I'm just gonna cut these right quick so that you can see all 4 blocks. Then I will, then I'll go ahead and press them and square them up, and we can start putting this block together. All of the pieces are ready now for the quilt block. I have the quarter square triangle units, and then I have the solid squares. And so now it's time to lay everything out to get ready to stitch it together. I'm gonna put it here on the design wall so you can see it up high, and then I'll show you me sewing everything together. Hopefully it will actually record this time and you can see what I'm doing. So I have my, I have the practice block here as well, just to help me with the placement. I'll start by placing the solid squares here. So like this, and this is a tone on tone, so I'm just making sure that I have the right side facing me instead of not facing me here. So the squares, they go in the corners and in the center. So here we go. All right. Now the cool thing about this layout is pretty simple, but there's just like one little thing that you need to remember. So the basically the similar triangles are going to face each other. So when I lay this out, when I know I need this piece to go here so that they can face each other. Okay. And then on this side, I know I need this piece to go here, right? And then right here, these pieces match up because of the way we put them together. If you'll remember, we took the lights and we placed them right sides together with each one got a different square or a different pattern. And then the same over here, we had these, the lighter ones, and we placed one of the little flowers and one of the, I don't know, the big swirls sort of. Okay, so now this block is ready to be put together. I really like it in just the blue and white, so now it's time to stitch everything together. Just like I did last time, I'm going to transfer it to my cutting mat because it'll be right beside me, and I will sew it together so that you can see it. So I'm going to speed up the camera here so that you can check out me sewing this part together. Here we go. The finished open star block. I really like the way that the blues contrast each other and give this block a nice look. It's coming together really perfectly. Now I want to let you see all of the blocks together that we have in our blue colorway. Uh-oh, my finger's in the way. So here they are. Trying to make it so you can see all of them. And then of course that bottom one on the left, that's the other red and black one. But you can check these out. These blocks, to me, they look really great together. I am excited to see the last two blocks in this series. Let me see if I can find the next block. I'm looking for my clipboard, but I don't see it in here right this second. I don't remember the name of it. So the next block is coming up really soon in May. So I hope that you will stay tuned for that. That part of the series. Right now there are only 2 blocks left, and then we can sash this bad boy and start getting ready to put everything together. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the description box where you'll find a link to my blog and a link to the playlist for all the other videos in this series. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!